Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another daily cryptocurrency update. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you like what you see, and let's get right into the information today. As you can see, I do have a new channel overlay here with the Kevin Cage in the bottom, and this was all designed by Mr. Level Up, so much appreciated. He has a great YouTube channel on cycle analysis, analyzing the patterns and algorithms within XRP and various altcoins, so I will link his channel down below in the pinned comment. Highly recommend you go check him out. Keep an open mind. I do not day trade per anybody's recommendations, and I am a long-term holder in the XRP community, as many of you know, and it's always interesting to see other perspectives in the space. So without further ado, we have Cryptomaniac just sharing this clip of Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple at Swell, and what really caught my attention in this was a quote that Brad Garlinghouse says, as historically we say, you know, the Swift messaging error rates of sending a message today are between 4 to 6%, and actually they're known to be much higher now, so that was actually a conservative estimate. But then Brad Garlinghouse actually quotes and said that yeah, he has heard CFOs actually say anywhere from 2% all the way up to 11% error rates using Swift messaging, sending these payments, guys, not small payments, large batched payments. This is, you know, this expense is extremely costly. It has to change by resetting the fundamental architecture of how payments flow entirely, and that is literally what he said. And you guys just have to see the bigger picture of what is going on here. XRP, and it's my belief and many others that it will be on the settlement layer. Nobody needs to know how it functions, but because of atomic swaps, because Xcurrent is kind of bringing people over from the Swift network, even though it competes with Swift GPI, and then XRapid, formerly XRapid, and now on-demand liquidity is what will really help free the dormant capital. It really seems to be a no-brainer. And can you guys guess the error rate with RippleNet using on-demand liquidity, using XRP? Well, I mean, just keep in mind, with the XRP ledger alone, there have been over 51 million ledgers successfully closed without a single error. That is notable. All right, next up, and I know we've seen this, but I just want to go over this. So Mr. BXRP, he was at Swell, so congratulations for crossing the 20K mark, well over that at this point on Twitter. Love your content, and I just want to read these quotes. So the one question I asked of every Ripple team member I could was, do you hold XRP? And obviously some Ripple people are actually able to be paid a portion of their salary in XRP, which I think is interesting. And he says this, hearing them say yes was not nearly as meaningful as the smile on their faces when they did. I'm in the business of reading people, and they are clearly bullish on XRP. And this is not financial advice, guys, but I found that interesting. Obviously, a lot of people on Ripple are long-term believers, but I also believe, not to sound too tinfoil hatty, but I do believe that there are a lot of NDAs, and I think that they really do know what's going on. They're more than just a successful multi-billion-dollar startup company. They are backed by some of the largest groups in the world, and we already know this. It is literally roughly 40 to 50 central banks and 40 to 50 world governments working with them today. So this should not be a surprise to you guys. Everyone's focusing and saying, well, XRP's been at, 30 cents for almost 2 years, 25 cents, and, it's a crap coin. You guys just have a myopic view. You have to look long term. This is investing. This is not getting rich overnight. And I'm patient. I'm here for the long haul. I believe, and based off my research, I know what's coming. And then this. So I attempted to answer someone's question with a multi-tweet and obviously did it incorrectly. So here we go. Here's this tweet that he put together. So specifically asking the price question is literally equivalent of asking when moon, which wouldn't go anywhere. But I did get some interesting commentary from David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, one of the original architects of the XRP ledger. So literally he shared this with Alex Cobb as well. And this is what happened. So he asked David if he would believe the price of XRP would be a slow and steady process or caused by mass adoption event and shoot up, kind of like an overnight scenario or within weeks or months. And I'm going to try and recall the best I can after a rum tasting event, but he didn't take the mass adoption off the table and said that the flaw with the slow and steady idea is that if it starts to move slow and steady, investors will take note pretty quickly and they'll want to hold it and it won't stay that way. So if you disagree with this statement, don't shoot the messenger. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. I bounce between the idea of a slow and steady rise with XRP, but at the same time, once the proof of concepts are really there and it starts catching our attention, it will attract more market makers and liquidity providers. It will become more and more liquid, and then it does have the snowball effect. So I think we'll see some slow and steady rise, but within that, we'll see some speculative and utility types of bull runs. And I think that once this really, snowball starts moving, I don't think there's turning back. So we cannot take off the table either the slow and steady rise or quick price jumps overnight. I just believe anything's possible and time will tell. And if you claim to know, or if somebody claims to know, do not believe them, including myself, guys. All right, next up. So this is James Tadaro. So state of cryptocurrency exchanges. So these are some various exchanges and listings of each project by volume, and I thought this was notable to look. So as we can see, this yellow bubble here is Binance. Then we got Poloniex, Bitfinex, Bitstamp. So this big yellow bubble, let's look. Bitcoin volume. XRP volume is larger than Ethereum. So keep in mind, I believe this is just 24-hour trading volume, I'd imagine. And keep in mind, volume is a sign of liquidity. Now, what's happening is on the 12th of November, there's going to be a new liquidity metric that CoinMarketCap will be using. Could change around some of these price points. It might not have an initial effect right away, but long term, I'd expect to see some rankings for some of these projects perhaps switching place based off of the new liquidity metric, which seems to make sense to me. We cannot use market capitalization and these, supply for long with an asset that is nothing like a stock. So found this pretty interesting. Notice that XRP is usually the second largest bubble. All right. So next best option really in terms of trading in the future. And that is the idea, making it more and more liquid. Right here, Crypto Wizard just thought this was notable. Almost all sources of cryptocurrency fundamentals right now are heavily focused on XRP. Absolutely, it has some of the best news and just news on a daily basis, whether it's new corridors, developments for Ripple, developments on the XRP ledger and the XRP ecosystem as a whole, regulations, etc. And of course, China with the new digital currency going on, tax and all kinds of, new tax regulations on the way. And then futures trading volume surges, especially regarding backed. So let's pay close attention to that. And as he says, all I see is growth. And we have to realize, these huge institutions, as I've said in a prior video, they are investing early. They do not just invest into something without expecting huge gains in the future. So they're laying that foundation. They're preparing for something big. And I'm right there with them. I'm ready to take the risk. I'm not saying go all in, but it's not a bad idea to, invest what you can afford to lose and take a chance. I obviously invest much more because I've done the research and I'm willing to risk it. All right, right here, Crypto King just sharing this. Thought this was pretty cool. So RippleNet Home. Ripple introduces a revolutionary product for connecting its clients now. For anybody that is using on-demand liquidity, they can interact. This might not, be some crazy thing for XRP, but I found this pretty interesting, okay? Creating this central hub. So it's going to allow its customers to connect and partner with each other. And this was all announced at the Swell conference as well. So right here, by teaming up with each other, RippleNet members can enjoy low rates and instant settlement via Ripple's on-demand liquidity ODL service, which uses XRP, solely XRP. All right, and of course, more than 300 members, 24 of them are using on-demand liquidity, and these 24 are not going 100% by any means. It's small values or volumes, especially maybe only 10% of what they can really push at the moment, and you just have to realize not just 300 members, but they've also teamed up with Finastra, Temenos. We have huge payment providers and gateways and, groups like Earthport. You have to really kind of read between the lines. It's much, much more than 300 members. And if you think that I'm just hyping this up on this channel, then time will tell, my friend. Right here, Crypto Burb, I guess. This is pretty funny. So just this chart of low prices. So if you don't love me at my worst, you do not deserve me at my best. Same concept. If you cannot handle the 90%, 95% losses, you do not deserve the 1,000, 10,000% gains when things do turn around. Because all we've been seeing is building and building and building. And I'm ready. Right here, I Am Legion, just cool little thread right here. So speculation, complete speculation. Visa and MasterCard came after Earthport, of course, which is a well-known RippleNet partner. And then Euronet and Ant Financial have previous bids for MoneyGram. Pretty interesting. I'm not sure if Ripple would really want that. But again, if they wanted to take over, they might be able to. And then again, wonder if Western Union, Visa, or MasterCard are aggressive enough to go for MoneyGram next. And then just kind of showing some snippets and screenshots and proof that this happened, of course. So Euronet with their bid. We got Visa outbids MasterCard in the battle over RippleNet Earthport. So we know Visa owns Earthport, which is awesome. So just showing some proof, a little more speculation. Just want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. And then this is the last one for today. So this is an awesome thread by I Am Legion. If you do not follow him on Twitter, highly recommend it. Really makes a lot of great threads regarding XRP. And if you don't have a Twitter, I didn't have a Twitter for a long time, and I finally decided to create one just for XRP research and to interact with the community. Sometimes it can be a little much, but there's some great content. So right here, PNC Bank uses, first to go live on Ripple, obviously one of the biggest banks in the United States. We've got one of Peru's largest banks and, Interbank Peru we've talked about. We got connections with Brazil, launching those, payment corridors with the Brazilian real. We got, Bank of Saudi Arabia joins RippleNet with Kuwait as well. You can just go through the countries. We can see Japan. We know Yoshitaka Kitao of SBI, the huge banking consortium, is an executive now. And then something interesting, is right here. When you type in Ripple executives on Google, we not only have Chris Larson, executive chairman, Brad Garlinghouse, CEO, and Yoshitaka Kitao, but why is Gottfried Lebrant showing up? Former CEO of Swift. Why is this showing up? Are they sourcing this from Ripple's website and they have not shown this yet? Or is this just completely an error? Let me know your thoughts, because remember, Brad Garlinghouse in an interview was joking around when Gottfried was saying he's retiring or leaving Swift. He said, hey, we're hiring. And obviously Gottfried in an interview actually said, hey, with this whole, what was it, David and Goliath analogy, he said Ripple's really the Goliath and that Swift, they just don't have the funds. They're really David. They're the small group in this. Now, obviously, the whole story of that is a little different, but for the analogy of size, keep that in mind. All right, so I found that really interesting. Let me know your guys' thoughts, of course, just showing R3, and then Ripple obviously just targeting the remittance corridors, but R3's first settlement mechanism is XRP, trade fine. I mean, just look, we're talking trillions, guys. And if this is successful, this is unbelievable. For me, XRP is truly an all or nothing type of thing, and that has been quoted from Ripple as well. They're either going to succeed or fail. All right, we've seen all this. This is by NTT Everest as well, creating these, showing XRP Ledger connecting through all the correspondent banking network, liquidity providers, central banks, all the, ACH, Fedwire, various countries and their, networks today connecting on the Interledger protocol. So found this always interesting. I know we've seen that around. NTT Data, let's see. We got some information on China, and then, of course, some talks with Lian Pei, which is a RippleNet partner. No surprise there, and they are a massive group, but nobody seems to talk about it yet, obviously because it's not necessarily using XRP yet, and that is the key word. This is a waiting game, and people are sick of waiting. That's fine. You can sell. Do whatever you want, but I will be creating this content and sharing the information because when XRP does pop off, I'm sure you'll be back to kind of check what's going on. All right, Amex, American Express partner. We got MUFG, which is one of the biggest banks in the world, is a RippleNet partner. We can go through India and their cross-border payments, and we've already heard all of the bullish information that even Navin Gupta has said of Ripple. We got Thailand, Iceland, of course, with the acquisition going there, even creating, DeFi products and decentralized finance. We even have Sweden talking about SEB, that bank as well. You get the gist. I think that, obviously we're a huge portion in Canada. That's pretty well known if you kind of just connect the dots there. Highly recommend you guys go to XRP Arcade as well to just see a list of like almost all the RippleNet partners that we know and can track. And they've not released all 300, believe it or not. Some just don't want to, release that information yet. All right, Bank of England, various proof of concepts, connections to Australia with their corridors opening up. So you get the gist, guys. A lot of good information here. Always do your own research. Do not use me as a single source, but I promise that I do double check the information I share. And if I'm ever wrong, please let me know and I will correct it on the next video. But I try to always double check this. So with that, guys, appreciate your time and I'll see you in the next video.